there was such an obsession about anything in my world, including tracking down my parents, and I did everything I could to protect both of them in that media frenzy. But for over a year, the UK tabloids were trying to find my dad, offering people so much money to try to find his address. Once they did, I remember being told there was a huge headline like, "We found him," or "We've got him." You're talking about someone's father. And from that point, the tabloids, they moved into the apartment next door and across from him, descended on this small town, were just giving him gifts. The whole thing brings us to where we are today.
Did it feel like betrayal when you found out your father was working with the tabloids?
I'm just trying to decide if I'm comfortable even talking about that. If we're going to use the word betrayal, it's because when I asked him, when we were told by the comms team this is a story that was going to be coming out, which, by the way, the tabloids had apparently known for a month or so and decided to hold until the Sunday before our wedding because they wanted to create drama, which is also a really key point in all this. They don't report the news, they create the news. We called my dad and I asked him, and he said, "No, absolutely not." And I said, "You know, the institution has never intervened for anything for us, but they can try to go in and kill this story. But if they do this once, we're not going to be able to use that same leverage to protect our own kids one day."
He said, "No, absolutely not." He hadn't been talking to them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he basically lied to you.
Well, and so when I said we won't be able to protect our own kids one day, and I said, "So I just need you to tell me, and if you tell me the truth, we can help." And he wasn't able to do that. And that for me has really resonated, especially now as a mother. You know.
Not being willing to protect you.
And also me saying just full stop, if we use this to protect you, we won't be able to protect our own children one day. Well, I'm talking about your grandchildren. So I can't, I mean, I look at Archie, I think about this child, and I go, I genuinely can't imagine doing anything to intentionally cause pain to my child. I can't imagine it. So it's hard for me to reconcile that.
So your father being hunted down, it seemed like you were saying in some ways that they did this to him. So I want you to be able to clarify this, that the tabloids, the media did this to him, they hunted him, but he has a responsibility in it too.
Everyone has accountability. Look, they've hunted my mom down.
Right. And she didn't speak to the tabloids.
You've never heard her say a word. She's remained in silent dignity for 4 years, watching me go through this.
And Samantha Markle, your half-sister on your father's side, has written a supposedly tell-all book about you. What is your relationship with her?
I think it'd be very hard to tell all when you don't know me. And I mean, this is a very different situation than my dad, right? When you talk about betrayal, betrayal comes from someone that you have a relationship with, right? I don't feel comfortable talking about people that I really don't know. But I grew up as an only child, which everyone who grew up around me knows. And I wished I had siblings. I would have loved to have had siblings. That's why I'm so excited to be pregnant, so that Archie has someone. It was really interesting I mean, the last time I saw her must have been at least 18, 19 years ago. And before that, 10 years before that.
So you all weren't close? You didn't grow up together?
No.
She doesn't really know you?
No, she changed her last name back to Markle I think she was in her early 50s at that time, only when I started dating Harry. So I think that says enough.
You came in as an American, you came in as an actress, you came in as a divorcee, you came in as an independent woman, you came in as the first mixed race person to marry into the family, and yours was a different story. And did that concern you in being able to fit in? Did you think about that at all?
Well, I thought about it because they made me think about it, right? But I think at the same time now, upon reflection, thank God all of those things were true. Thank God I had that life experience. Thank God I had known the value of working. My first job was when I was 13 at a frozen yogurt shop called Humphrey Yogurt. I've always worked. I've always valued independence. I've always been outspoken, especially about women's rights. I mean, that's the sad irony of the last 4 years is I've advocated for so long for women to use their voice. And then I was silent.
Were you silent or were you silenced?
The latter.
So how does that work? Were you told by the comms people or the, I don't know, the institution, were you told to keep silent? How were you told to handle tabloids or gossip? Were you told to say nothing?
Everyone in my world was given very clear directive from the moment the world knew Harry and I were dating to always say no comment. So that's my friends, my mom and dad. And we did. I did anything they told me to do. Of course I did, because it was also through the lens of, and we'll protect you. So even as things started to roll out in the media that I didn't see, but my friends would call me and say, Meg, this is really bad. Because I didn't see it, I'd go, don't worry, I'm being protected. I believed that. And I think that was really hard to reconcile, because it was only once we were married and everything started to really worsen that I came to understand that not only was I not being protected, but that they were willing to lie to protect other members of the family, but they weren't willing to tell the truth to protect me and my husband.
So are you saying you did not feel supported by the powers that be that the firm, the monarchy, all of them?
It's hard for people to distinguish the two, because it's a family business, right? So there's the family, and then there's the people that are running the institution. Those are two separate things, and it's important to be able to compartmentalize that, because the Queen, for example, has always been wonderful to me. I mean, we had one of our first joint engagement together. She asked me to join her. And
Is this on the train?
Yeah, on the train. And we had breakfast together that morning, and she'd given me a beautiful gift, and I just really loved being in her company. And I remember we were in the car.
Can you share what the gift was? Or?
Yes, she gave me some beautiful pearl earrings and a matching necklace. And we were in the car going between engagements, and she has a blanket that sits across her knees for warmth, and it was chilly. And she was like, Megan, come on, and put it over my knees as well.
Oh,
right?
nice.
Like just moments of, and it made me think of my grandmother, where she's always been warm and inviting and really welcoming.
So, okay, so she made you feel welcome.
Yes.
Did you feel welcomed by everyone? It seemed like you and Kate at the Wimbledon game, where you were going to watch a friend play tennis. Was it what it looked like? You are two sister-in-laws out there in the world, getting to know each other. Was she helping you, embracing you into the family, helping you adjust?
I think everyone welcomed me. And yeah, and when you say, was it what it looked like? My understanding and my experience of the past 4 years is it's nothing like what it looks like. It's nothing like what it looks like. And I remember so often people within the firm would say, well, you can't do this because it'll look like that. You can't, so even, can I go and have lunch with my friends? No, you're oversaturated, you're everywhere. It would be best for you to not go out to lunch with your friends. I go, well, I haven't left the house in months. I mean, there was a day that one of the members of the family, she came over and she said, why don't you just lay low for a little while? Because you are everywhere right now. And I said, I've left the house twice in 4 months. I'm everywhere, but I am nowhere. And from that standpoint, I continued to say to people, I know there's an obsession with how things look, but has anyone talked about how it feels? Because right now I could not feel lonelier.
You were feeling lonely even though you're Prince, you're in love, you're with him.
I'm not lonely. I wasn't lonely with him.
Yeah.
There are moments that he had to work or he had to go away. There's moments in the middle of the night. And so there was very little that I was allowed to do. And so, yeah, of course that breeds loneliness when you've come from such a full life or when you've come from freedom. I think the easiest way that now people can understand it is what we've all gone through in lockdown.
Yeah. Well, everybody can certainly relate now.